Welcome to Access to Business Opportunities. I'm Thomas Stevens, your host. Today with us we have Rose Roman with Commerce Bank and Hillary Jones with Untitled. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have some great bankers here, not just good, great. And I've known you for a little while, and I know both of you are experts in the field, so hopefully we can give some good tips and advice to the viewers. Let's start out with Rose. Rose, tell us a little bit about Commerce Bank.
Commerce National Bank, we were founded in 1991 by a man named Tom McAuliffe. He had a vision for small business banking in the Central Ohio marketplace. He was with a larger bank and felt like there was a kind of a gap in terms of the level of service that small businesses receive from their banks. And so 20 years ago, he founded Commerce, and we've really just grown organically from one location. So with one location, we've been able to grow the bank to today 1,300 businesses in Central Ohio.
Okay, great.
Is the number that we serve. And it's primarily with our courier service. We actually go to the businesses to pick up the deposits.
Okay. And what is your particular role with the bank?
I'm a commercial lender, and I specialize in the government incentive programs that are available.
Okay, it'd be great to learn more about that. Now, Hillary, give us a little background about Untitled and kind of what your role is.
Okay, Untitled Credit Union was established in 1934, and it started by employees of the telemarketing industry. They came together and then created this credit union. And if you worship, live, or if you go to school in Franklin County, you can be a member. We have about 48,000 members and also about 7 branches that are located in Franklin.
You said 48,000?
48,000
Wow,
members.
that's a lot.
And still growing.
Okay, good.
And we have 7 branches, like I said, in Franklin County. My role is the Business Services Relationship Manager, long title. But basically what I do is I partner with the business owners, and I really help the process with any products or services that they need, and just give outstanding customer service as well while I'm doing that. I work anywhere from startup businesses to small businesses to organizations as well as large businesses.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into the specifics of your programs, what do you think, Rose, what about the general landscape of banking and access to capital and all? What do you see when you're out there?
Now, we hear a lot of negativity. Obviously, there's a lot of volatility in the marketplace, just big picture, uncertainty, which is always difficult to work through for small businesses. But what I'm really seeing is, small businesses that are agile in that they are reinventing themselves, finding new ways to take advantage of the current conditions. And it's really exciting because I think that we're in a time where interest rates are very low, and it's really a buyer's market in terms of asset acquisitions. So I think for the companies that are able to really reinvent themselves in this new, kind of the new landscape, there's a ton of opportunities right now.
And when you say reinvent yourself, what type of opportunities do you see? For instance, if I used to have a trucking company, are you saying that I should look at, and it hasn't been that successful over the last couple of years, I should look at doing something else?
Yeah, I mean, finding ways to save your customers money.
Okay, great. Hillary, can you chime right?
Sure. Being a business owner as well, I think knowing, specifically how they feel, and now in this role, they've been faced with lots of challenges. The economy has presented lots of challenges for the business owners. And at Ohio, what I can say, what we try to help them do is, instead of always hearing the word no to any product or service, we really try to take the time to work with them and get them prepared. So if we're saying no right now, this is a plan for the next 6 months or 9 months. So the business owners that have challenges, or have had challenges in the past and are on their growth swing, we really just try to sit with them and work with them and prepare them and help them grow. So we kind of take a different spin to it a little bit. Maybe not create something new, but to help you really perfect what you have and not let the economy stop you.
Okay. And that's something that is a little different about credit unions. Of course, Commerce Bank is a little smaller and probably helps businesses more than some of these big banks, because I've read a lot of stories where businesses are saying that they can't get loans at the big institutions. There's a challenge, and they're moving more to smaller banks as well as credit unions. Now, why do you think that is?
I think credit unions, we take time to work with the small business owners. We're not automatically looking for the big fish. We look for the smaller owners so that we can help them, even if it's day one from your startup and you just got your tax ID. As well as we're able to tailor the product for the business owner. So if it's something specific you need on the lending side, or if it's something specific on, just your checking account, we're able to really tailor something specifically for you. We take the time with you. We get to know your business. We get to know the community that you're in, how your business affects the community that you're in. So we really just get involved with the relationship and try to really have an intimate relationship. We take the time.
So is credit unions a little more community focused?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Wonderful. What about you, Rose? Of course.
I just think that, a lot of the banks, they've, over the last several years, have lent money on all different types of assets. And now in this kind of new era, they're dealing with, some defaults in certain areas. And so depending on the bank, you're going to get different appetites for different assets that you need to finance. So at Commerce, we're definitely looking at 2012, and we are open for business in all areas. So our segments would be healthcare. It's a large growth area for us. Commercial and industrial businesses, commercial real estate investment. So we have a large capacity to grow our commercial real estate portfolio. So that's really important today. And also we do consumer lending as well. So we're providing a relationship. So not just lending money, but also providing retirement services, estate planning, retirement asset management, insurance. We have a lot of, like a suite of all different products that we can provide to the small businesses.
Okay. And when you talk about, in particular, commercial lending and healthcare, give me some examples of what you're looking to do in those areas, because that's kind of intriguing.
Yeah, practice acquisitions. A lot of acquisitions happening. We're actually got a Midwest focus in that area, so it's not just Central Ohio, but dental and medical practices.
Okay. Hillary,
Yes.
what about you in the area of business lending? I know several years ago, Ohio wasn't involved in business lending, but now you're trying to step that up.
Right.
Let me give me some insight into that.
Okay. Business lending is new to Ohio, but pretty much any product you can get at a larger financial institution, you can get with us.
Okay.
Revolving lines of credit, commercial real estate, as Rose mentioned. And I know we're going to get into this maybe later, but we work with the SBA and do a lot of government lending there. But pretty much any type of lending vehicle that a business owner would need, if we don't have it, we're going to create it for you. So we're hanging in there with the big banks as well. So.
Okay. Rose, and I know you, because you're a community development lender.
Correct.
And you know pretty much all the programs. I just know you're experienced and capable. How does Commerce Bank work with a small business in that area, whether it be SBA, commercial, government programs?
Sure. Commerce National Bank is a preferred SBA lender, which means that we have a process in place to expedite your small business administrative loan request. And so we use that program, the 7A program. We utilize the SBA 504 program, which is a little bit different in that there's actually an SBA debenture that comes from a community development corporation here locally. So basically what it does is it gets you a 20-year fixed interest rate on 40% of your project. So the interest rates right now are incredibly low.
When you say incredibly low, what is that? Like
I think it's less than 5% right now for a fixed product with the SBA 504 program, yeah.
And does Commerce do a lot of those type of loans?
We do. Community Capital Development Corporation is one CDC locally that I serve on their loan review committee, and so we're approving all of those 504 deals that happen all over the state.
Okay.
Exciting stuff.
To Ohio,
Yes.
what type of community development lending do you do?
We do SBA, as Rose mentioned. We also do CDC as well. We do state programs and city programs. So pretty much anything that we hear about or a new program that is being developed, Ohio tries to get involved, see if it's a program that will work with any of our business members. So pretty much with the state and with the city, and SBA as well as with CDC.
So when I come to your credit union or your bank, what do you want to see from me as either a startup business or existing business that wants to grow? What are you looking for? A solid business plan, equity? What type of things should I bring to the table?
Well, we're looking for historical information on your company, as well as your plan for the future. So we look at it from both perspectives, understanding where you've been and where you want to go, and crafting a solution that's specific to your need.
So I have a one-page business plan. Is that good enough? I need $100,000, can you help me?
If you're speaking on the startup, I'll touch on that side. As a startup, you do have to have a solid business plan, and we really need to understand where you're trying to go and how you're going to get there. It doesn't necessarily need to be 20 pages, but I do think we need a little bit more than one page. Generally, you do have to inject some of your own funds when you need any type of funding, whether you're a startup or you've been in business for a long period of time. But as a startup, projections, we want to see where you're going. If you're already established, like Rose said, we want to see where you've been and where you would like to go. So it just depends on where you're at and where you're starting, but I will say putting money down is something that you definitely have to bring to the table in a solid business plan.
Okay, wonderful. One of the challenges I've heard from a lot of businesses, small, minority, and female, I need some money for working capital, and that seems to be a challenge. How would you address that, whether your bank can do that or one of the organizations that you work with? How would you address that question?
Sure, there's several sources of working capital financing here locally, especially if you're a young company or a startup company that may not yet be bankable, as we call it. There's Economic Community Development Institute, Increase CDC. There's micro lenders locally that will finance small working capital and term loan requests. So they're funded differently and than a typical bank or credit union, and there's a lot of access there. But in terms of what a bank can offer, the SBA Express program has a wonderful line of credit option where the government guarantees part of your line to help mitigate risk for the bank.
So when someone comes to your bank, they fill out the application. Perhaps they don't know what type of loan they need. They just want to do a business. Do you work with them, walk them through the process?
Right. It's really important to have a good banker working with you to kind of guide you through the different programs. I'm glad you mentioned the minority aspect. There's actually a very underutilized program called the Business Consortium Fund, and it's actually privately funded. It's not a government funded program, but they're focused on minority-owned businesses, and they do great work.
And how would someone find out about that? By contacting you?
You can contact me. You can actually probably just Google Business Consortium Fund. They're out of New York.
Okay. Have anything to add to that?
I could say to Ohio, I come from a big bank before I came to Ohio Credit Union, and we're actually working with a lot of startups. If you are strong enough personally, we are willing to even give you something small to start out to build a relationship with us. So we can use the other programs that Rose mentioned or refer them to them, but we do take a closer look initially when we have you fill out an application to see if even if it's just a small $10,000 line of credit, is that enough to get you to the next step and also build a relationship with us to know that we can lend more to you as you grow. So we do try to take an initial look at them at first.
Okay, and you mentioned you worked for a large institution before this.
Correct.
So what are you seeing as the difference between a large institution and a credit union?
I would say the biggest difference is the loan approval process. In a larger financial institution, your information is inputted in a computer and the system generates maybe yes, we can lend to you or not. It's pretty much black and white. Whereas to Ohio, I meet with committee members, and it's our executive board. We sit and we have a conversation about the business owner. Personal conversation. We make it very intimate. We look at their financials all in detail. But it's just a group of people that come together and talk about each individual, and then we make our decision from there. It has nothing to do with a computer system generated answer of yes or no. So we take our time. It's just a very intimate process.
Okay, excellent. What about Commerce Bank? What about your loan approval process,
Sure.
and how does that work?
Absolutely. Our loan approval process is local, which is wonderful. We do lend to middle market businesses as well as small businesses. So depending upon the loan size, we may have a higher level of approval authority. But it's local. It's great. It's great to be able to walk down the hall to, you know, my boss's office and say, this is a great opportunity, and, you know, I think we need to take advantage of it. And that's what happens every day.
Okay. So looking at your process, though, local approval, which is something different, which is great. When I come to you, give you the application, go through a loan review committee.
Correct.
And it's approved. How long does that usually take? 30 days, 60, 90?
It depends on the deal. It depends
Okay.
on the complexity. But if it's pretty straightforward, you know, we can get back to you within weeks.
Okay, good. Now let's talk about investing in the community. One of the priorities of the city is to give back to the community and work in neighborhoods. How does Commerce Bank work in neighborhoods and give back?
Absolutely. Well, Commerce Bank actually invests monetarily in 35 different nonprofit organizations in Central Ohio that serve low-income individuals.
Okay.
So that's number one. Also, we donate our time. So we have our employees serving on nonprofit boards. We actually did a great community project this summer with Columbus Collegiate Academy. We sent in a group of employees to help renovate the space, the school. It's a school serving their neighborhood, and helped, you know, just elbow grease, painting the walls. So everything from board work to manual labor, we're doing it.
Okay,
So.
that's a priority for your
It's great.
corporate. All
It
right.
is, absolutely.
Good. Tell Ohio.
Since most of our members are in Franklin County, we tend to really focus with the youth and the children in Franklin County. We also have been doing a lot of financial literacy and really trying to educate with small churches. We come in and we speak with them and just kind of help them get financially on a good path. Our CEO actually does that. It's really awesome that she goes out and she sits and she educates them on how to handle their finances better personally and as well with the church themselves. We also participate in the Ronald McDonald House. We did that as well. And then we also participate in Urban League as well. So,
We always like to see great community involvement and commitment.
yes, yes.
When we look at we looked at the lending environment, we looked at your community involvement. What type of businesses, well, give me a business success. Where you've walked a business through the process and then 2 years later they were success and they came back to you and said, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, my example is a business, a man and a woman, husband and wife, and they came to me. They had been in business about 3 years, and they were in space of about 7,500 square feet, and they said, you know, Rose, we need to grow, and we have an opportunity to grow to over $20 million a year in revenue. You know, at the time they were at about $3 million. And so it's rapid growth, great opportunity. They were going from 7,500 square feet to 35,000 square feet and needed financing from everything from working capital to equipment, you know, you name it, they needed it. And we were able to provide it utilizing, because of the rapid growth, we needed a credit enhancement. And we utilized the Business Consortium Fund. It was a minority-owned company. And we also used actually Franklin County's loan program as well in that. So, you know, just pairing different programs, incentive programs together to make something happen. But yeah, I mean, it's a success story. They've created lots of jobs for the county and the city. And it's just really incredible to be able to do that kind of work.
All right. What about you, Hillary? Success stories.
Well, Ohio is very new to the business lending side, but one story I will say that sticks out is we had an actual company that needed a certain amount of money, and the SBA only approved a certain amount. So we were able to use the SBA, the CDC, and then a little bit of Ohio, and we mixed it all together, and it just turned out to be, exactly how much they needed to fund their project. So for us, it's just really being able to tap into the different resources. Hopefully we'll have more success stories moving further, but just being able to really tailor and structure three different, using Ohio, SBA, and the CDC to make this project work was just a really awesome success for us. So.
It's great to have incentive programs. It's great to have people who know these programs. Now, how long have you been in the business?
10 years this year.
10 years, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Hillary?
In the business altogether?
Financial industry.
5 years.
Okay.
But Ohio, maybe only 3 months.
Which is great. But that's 15 years, and I know y'all have helped many successful businesses because I've heard about it in the community, so that's a wonderful thing. What do you see for your institutions going forward into 2012? Any new programs coming out, or any? So what do you see?
We have a huge lending initiative at Commerce for 2012. Our goal is to put $150 million on the street in terms of new loans for small businesses in this community, and we've got a team of 13 commercial lenders, each with their specialty in different areas. And we're excited. We're hungry. We want to grow, and we're looking to fund great ideas and great opportunities.
Okay, heard it here first. 150 million, 2012.
Absolutely.
All right, Hillary, 2012.
We're not at 150 million yet, but we'll get there. Really, with Ohio for 2012, we're really looking just to grow business membership, really get the word out there. It's very new. A lot of the members on the consumer side have no idea that we even offer business services. So I would say getting the word out there, increasing the lending, and really making sure that we're taking the time and holding their hand through the whole process from beginning to end. That's really big for credit unions in general. It's just the relationship that you have. And we want to set ourselves aside as, someone who can provide that type of service for the business member, walking them through the whole process and then growing with them. Because we are new, we like to start with small businesses and grow with them as they grow larger. So that's what we're looking to do in 2012.
All right, great. Yeah. One thing we always like to do is talk about businesses being optimistic. And I read a recent index from the National Foundation of somebody or other, but they said the optimistic ratio went up 1.8% over last month, which means business owners are starting to be more optimistic. Now, what advice would you give them as they approach your institution, as they approach their new business, with regards to being optimistic?
That's what drives everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm optimistic.
Uh-huh.
I think it's good. I think that's what we need. We need to shift in our thought processes, and we need to realize the opportunities that are in front of us. Like I said, in terms of interest rates and opportunities to make money, I mean, they're here. So
okay,
take action.
Take action. That's take action.
I would say entrepreneurs in general, I think, have an optimistic spirit. I think that's what makes you an entrepreneur. And I think with, just coming with a realistic approach of really what you want to achieve and being positive about it and knowing that we're going to partner with you and help you get there is something that I would say stay optimistic, but also just come with a realistic approach, and we'll support you through the process. So.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to ask both of you, about credit. People are still concerned about credit. I'm coming to the bank, I have a 600 credit score, 650. Will that be enough to get approved? I have a 700. Do you look at my personal credit or just the business stuff? So let's go into that a little bit, because that's critical.
We look at both, absolutely. I would say credit score is important. Your business history and your business opportunities are more important than just your credit score. You are more than your credit score. Good tagline. But yeah, credit's tight. We want to make good decisions. We want to make loans that are positive assets to our balance sheet. But we are hungry for loans, and I think it's a pretty competitive environment right now in banking. So it's an interesting time.
Okay.
I would say you know, at other institutions, if you have a certain credit score and you're below that, there's never an option until you get your credit score to a certain level, speaking personal credit. The nice thing about Ohio is that it's not we don't have a cutoff. We look at the whole picture. We look at the business. We look at you personally, as Rose said. But there's not a specific cutoff. So if you do have, you know, a low credit score, maybe we can give you tools to say X, Y, and Z need to happen. Get your score to this point, and then we can look at, you know, giving you something, you know, lending for your business. So even if your score is low, we're still going to help you. We're not going to turn you away. So.
Okay. And even though you may not be able to provide a lending opportunity, you give people direction?
Direction. We give you direction, and then we follow up to see where you're at, whether it's 6 months or 9 months or even a year. These are the steps you need to take because we want to set you up for success. We don't want you to fail. So if we give you a big loan and it's even worse on your credit, that doesn't make any sense. We didn't do our job. So our job is to get you in a solid place so that we're able to lend to you.
I like the quote. We want to set you up for success,
yes.
And you're more than your credit score. That's great. That's great. What about collateral? Because that's always a concern that I hear out there too. What are they going to require?
Right, absolutely. Collateral is an important piece. Banks look for a primary source of repayment and a secondary source. Credit can be enhanced, as I mentioned before, utilizing some of these programs. So the kicker is you get an enhancement, you get a collateral kick from the federal and the state. The state's coming out with some really wonderful new programs that help the collateral deficiencies. So
yeah, when are they coming out? I haven't heard of those.
It's launched. It's launched, absolutely. And I think the interesting part will be, you know, how each bank takes the new program and implements it in their daily use. So I think that's still to be seen, but yeah, there's exciting things happening.
I have to learn more about those new programs. All right. And how does Ohio look at credit? Not credit, but collateral.
Pretty much the same. If there's a shortfall, we will try to use some type of government enhance. But assets, any assets that you have as a business owner, whether it's equipment, vehicles, also real estate, we will pretty much take anything we can use for collateral, even your pencil if we have to.
As long as it has some value.
As long as it has some value.
Any, I'd say, final tips that you would want to lead the viewers with regards to coming to your bank and working through the maze?
I would say, you know, for the entrepreneur that, you know, needs a little more education, you know, maybe it's your first time actually starting a business, you know, go to sba.gov. It's a wonderful resource. It's a huge website, but there's a ton of information about just, you know, how do I even get started? And also, in terms of, you know, big picture, I know we talked a lot about, you know, the environment that we're in. There's a wonderful article on the SBA's website from the Office of Advocacy about the current environment, and it gives statistics and really a great all-encompassing piece on just understanding where we are and how we've gotten here and where we need to go.
Okay. Any final tips for the viewers?
Yeah, I would say stick with the optimism. Also, coming to Ohio, I know that we will be able to take our time with you, walk you through the process, educate you. Small business owners are, I mean, we're going to depend on them. They're going to help us get the economy where, you know, we need it to be. So Ohio is very understanding and supportive of that. So we want you to be successful and just take our time with you, whether you're starting from day one or you've been in business for over 30 years.
And as they say, small business is the economic engine of the neighborhood. So,
it is, very much.
And how would someone be able to get a hold of you?
They can go to www.telhio.org, or they also can call me directly at 614-221-3233, and my extension is 8205.
Okay. What about you, Rose?
Firstmerchants.com is our website, and I'm on LinkedIn. My phone number is 614-583-2200.
Okay, thank both of you for being here. And if you're looking for opportunities with the City of Columbus, you can go to our website at columbus.gov, click on the Equal Business link. There you'll find links to our partners as well as links to vendor services where there's over 100 opportunities. Again, we thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Access to Business Opportunities.